Hey folks, and welcome back to another video log. It's James here, and welcome to my humble channel. Thank you for checking it out. I'm wearing my headset this time round because, as I've said countless times in the past, this camera, in terms of audio quality and video quality, is a bit pants, and you can hear the hard drive whirring, so that's probably why they discontinued them, because they're terrible. So I'm overdubbing it this time with my Turtle Beach headset, and I will be picking a audio track of my choosing, probably overdubbing that as well, something in the background. I don't know what I'll be playing yet, but that'll sound a lot better for you guys in YouTube land. But anyway, thank you very much for checking out my channel, guys. I do appreciate I got a few nice comments on my last vlog I did a few weeks back, probably about a month or so ago now. I do appreciate it, and I've got a few new subscribers, so thank you very much for checking out my channel, even though the cupboards are quite bare at the moment. I'm only doing video logs at the moment. I've only done like, you know, discussion pieces. I haven't really done anything major of note for quite some time, but I do plan on changing that and getting back in the swing of actually doing something to the channel and actually getting back into making especially like the long written stuff I used to do quite a while ago now, like scripted stuff like Clear's Taku and what have you. I still don't know. I sort of shelved that series for a while. I used to do. I did a little few videos talking about like a few series, watching anime as a clueless otaku. That's why I called it. Like, as a person who doesn't really know anything about anime, and like as the idea of me talking to people about what shows that are good if you don't really know anything about it, like I don't. So it's sort of like you and me, the audience, and me, like, I check something out and I review something. So I will try and probably do something with that again. It's just I don't know whether to. It's very difficult, that sort of thing. It's not just the writing of it. It's just copyright was a major problem with that sort of stuff. Like, YouTube in general is just a major ball ache with copyright in general. That's what's hampered a lot. I should say hampered a lot of my previous stuff I used to do. Clues Attacker especially, and like stuff for like we're using like stuff like ripped off DVDs and Blu-rays, like even teeny clips, like when you're doing it in like a review type of capacity. It's just you always get flagged with copyright, and it's just an absolute nightmare for me, because I don't do this for a living, of course. Like, if I did do this for a living, I'd be like quaking in my boots, because YouTube as a platform is so unstable these days when it comes to monetization and stuff. Like, with YouTube can pull your ads without notice, and people flagging your videos illegally, I might add, like false copyright claims, but YouTube just does not give a flying toss by the looks of things. They only seem to care about like the really big channels, and they seem to get away with murder. But that's my 2 cents on that matter. But I want to try and get back into making some more videos. I am toying with a few ideas. It's just copyright's a major problem, and just actually finding the time to actually do them these days now, because I used to make a lot of these videos when I was just a student, when I had quite a lot of free time on my hands in between seminars, and I had a few days off in the week, because now I've got a full-time job now. I'll do a standard Monday to Friday 9 till 5. It's just like when you come back from work, it's just like it's really difficult to get straight on the computer and actually doing some editing and writing, and writing's a pain in the arse. I'm okay at writing. It's just I don't have a lot of discipline when it comes to that most of the time. It's really difficult to find the motivation to actually write something decent and put things together. So, but there you go. But I've got a few ideas. Maybe I want to try and maybe get a video out maybe like once every 3 or 4 weeks, something that like a nice substantial video to watch, and that'll be interesting. And I've been toying with the idea of streaming as well, streaming some video games and stuff. Again, it's another box of frogs. Like, I don't know what sort of games people are interested in, whether or not the games I like to play people are really interested in. That's another thing. With YouTube being so saturated these days, with people to subscribe to and so much stuff, content to consume, as it were. It's like, what person like me bring to the table really anymore? Really, there's always that thing hanging over my head anyway. So. But as I say, like, I will I am toying with a few more ideas and continue some older projects and streaming some video games. That might be a cool thing to do. It's just I'm still toying with that idea. And some CRT microwave, like the projects I used to do. What Are We Watching, or Wower as it was called. All those episodes are, as people don't know, it's just basically me and my friends got together and just like watched a bunch of random crap on the internet that I download, like just download a video off the internet and we all watch it. Usually it's in the form of the theme was usually it was either a game show of some description or a children's TV show, like a cartoon or something. That's what most of those episodes encompassed. We did about, I think it was 28, 29 episodes in total, and we haven't done any for about well over a year now. Doing them again, as I said, copyright is a real big problem now. Like it's ridiculously hard to do something like that on YouTube. Even when I did like really. Even when I deliberately picked like stuff where like companies don't really care about the copyright so much, it's just even then something like that can like sink the channel, because like it's a lot more. Copyright is a lot more. Is enforced unevenly across the site. It's really difficult to do stuff like that anymore. Really, that's why I put them all on VidMe as it was. But now VidMe's gone. Now the Wower is no longer on the internet. Well, it is on the internet. You can download them all. They're all available to download right off the Mega Upload CRT Microwave folder. I've got a folder dedicated just for those episodes, and I use it for storage and bits and pieces as well, or for extra gubbins and things. Pornography? Nah, of course not. But extra. I just threw random shit in there, including the episodes. And the episodes, you can download them all off for free. You can watch them whenever you like, and you can just download them onto your computer, or I think you can stream it off your phone, but I don't. When I've tried it on my phone, it just didn't work half the time. But you can download it to your phone or to your computer or whatever, and just watch it with VLC or something. Any of the episodes, you can watch them all completely for free. Just follow the CRT Microwave Twitter handle. CRTs in capitals and microwave capital M, I think, as well. And all the episode links are listed on that Twitter feed, and you can just download the one that you want. And there you go. You can watch them whenever you feel like it. So at least if you want to watch them, you can watch them and download them. It's not ideal, granted, because they're not on YouTube, but that's the best thing I could think of for the time being, because I don't see me being able to re-upload the episodes, unfortunately. It's mainly because of copyright. But I would love to record more of these at some point. But again, it's very difficult now these days, because with Billy and Caleb, that they're doing their own thing now, basically. Like, everyone's doing their own thing now, basically. And Ben, he now lives and works in Japan now as a teacher, I believe. So that's awesome. He's moving up in the world. And Caleb and James, or Billy, he likes to call himself. We call him Billy, even though he's called James. I think because I'm James as well. I think like we call him Billy just to stop the confusion, I think, because there's quite a few Jameses in our group of friends. But anyway, Billy, him and Caleb go to university and stuff like that. So a lot of that sort of stuff, those commitments take a lot of time up, and trying to get us all together on like the internet where we can what we used to do, it's quite difficult now. Like, get on like Discord or Skype and watch something and record something. I would like to get together and actually record some more of those, but it's looking unlikely at this stage. But whatever episodes we have recorded, you can watch all the previous episodes and download them. But I would like to make more, but like it's difficult to say really whether we'll be able to do any more of those. It's for various factors really. But I do appreciate that a lot of people like them, and I like people, and I do like watching them back from time to time. Especially the probably my favourite episode is the Bob Ross episode, where we all watched an episode of Bob Ross and we all picked our own crappy painting software and painted along to a Bob Ross episode, and like we watched us all three of us all together, like what we paint, quote unquote paint it on there. So that was really good fun. That was probably my favourite episode out of all of them. And Thomas the Tank Engine was another good one. But anyway, I'll stop plugging my own work. That's should stop doing that. Oh, that's a lovely cup of tea. Even if I do say so myself, I made it myself. Thank you very much. Lovely cup of tea. But anyway, so yes, I usually use this video to talk about like video games and whatnot. So that's what I'm going to be doing. I'll still be talking about video games and all that good stuff. And I'll probably try and do a vlog every now and then where I'll talk about like some news or some particular topic that's interested me, because it's a nice easy video for me to put together. And the thing that's piqued my interest recently is I like to talk about physical media versus downloaded media and the pros and cons of both, because very recently I was on Twitter. You can follow me on Twitter if you like. I've been that's where I get most of my news now. I don't tend to go on the mainstream sites so much anymore. The only one I tend to go on now is PCGamer.com, but that's about it now, really. I don't really and I watch, of course, watch E3 on YouTube and stuff, but that's about it now. I don't really follow the gaming news websites anymore, really. Now it's just I don't know. It's just I've lost interest in really. I only really read the odd article on PC Gamer. That's about it. But anything else comes through on my Twitter. And you may know people who big fans of the Spyro games. It is the original trilogy. I believe it is being remastered, reignited trilogy. I think it's called Reignited, and it's been released on all the big three main home consoles: PlayStation 4, Nintendo Switch, and the Xbox One, of course. What really annoyed me on my Twitter feed. I don't know whether it was a fan of the original games themselves, or whether it was like a site representing Activision. I'm not entirely sure. I think it's the former. I think it might be just a fan of the series. Basically, the basic gist of the quote that they said was, "You are not a Spyro fan if you decide." If you don't decide to buy the download version, which I thought was a really, really bizarre and really shitty thing to say, really. But it got me thinking. Like, it's interesting, like the physical versus digital debates and stuff. Like, of course, I've always maintained. Whenever possible, it's always better to get the physical release compared to a digital version, especially when it comes to consoles. Now, what really bugs me was like the elitist. Excuse me, throat's playing up again. The sort of the elitism of the actual comment. Like people. That's what it was. People were really annoyed. Was basically what Activision. Basically, their plan was. I don't know whether they're going to decide to change this. It's unlikely at this stage, I don't think. But basically, the Nintendo Switch version of the new Spyro trilogy, the first game will be on the cartridge itself, but the second game and the third game, even if you bought the physical cartridge, you have to download them. They're not on the actual cartridge itself. So, which really annoyed me. And like people were complaining, which rightly so. But what's the point of buying a physical copy if you have to download like 2/3 of the cartridge you've paid for anyway? Well, you might as well get all three of them as a download. And this Twitter handle, I'll see if I can find a screenshot. I'll try and find it. But I did reply to it and made my comment about it. I'll see if I can find it. I'll put it if I can find it. And then it just really annoyed me. Like and like this Twitter handle basically said, you're not a quote unquote real Spyro fan if you are complaining about the fact that you have to download the other two games, which makes no sense whatsoever. But as of course, the whole purpose of a physical copy is so that's the biggest crux, isn't it? Especially with Activision, they're probably one of the most shadiest companies when it comes to like business practices in the video game industry. Like with like their popularization of loot boxes and unwillingness to cooperate and just being general dicks about the whole way they go about things. But this is one of their most admittedly benign things they've done, but it's still a pretty shitty thing to do. Expecting people still to having to download the other two games, even though if you bought the physical cartridge, which makes no sense whatsoever. What annoyed me was it seems to be a lot of like younger fans that don't quite seem to understand why even like older generations of fans like me might decide to prefer to buy a physical copy of a particular game, but doesn't matter what it is, as opposed to downloading stuff. I tend to be more in the physical camp when it comes to like consoles, but digital for PCs. But I'll talk about that a little bit later. But a lot of younger fans don't seem to understand why us oldies, I suppose. Am I old? 27, I suppose I am. I prefer to have like physical copies, like discs or cartridges, as opposed to a download on like your memory card or whatever. But simply because the game industry seems to have gone towards the idea of more renting properties more than actually owning games, which really annoys me. And like when it comes to like archiving and like coming to video game preservation and coming to play these games years down the road, those download, it's alright if you still got the download still on your console somewhere, but what if your console breaks and the servers are no longer active and you can't re-download your game license that you've paid for? You've basically lost that game forever. That's the biggest crux, isn't it, really? That's the biggest problem with download games. Like, in theory, there should be a format where you can basically just like download them and re-download them, uninstall them, reinstall them as many times you like without any restrictions. It is up to a certain point, providing these servers are still active for that particular console, whatever it is. Like, for the Xbox 360, of course, like that's a part of the Xbox Live network, of course. You'll still be able to download stuff on that for a few years yet, but I can see that eventually box of phasing that out, because like the Xbox 360, how old is it now? It's 13 years old now as a time of recording this video. 2005 it came out. It's now 2018, nearly 2019 actually. I can see them turning the service off for that, because like, what's the point of keeping that running if like less and less people are still using the services on that platform? They've already moved on to the Xbox One and its bigger brother, the Xbox One X and S, and so on and so forth. So by the time like you probably have a lot of games already on your hard drive. That's fine. You still be able to play them once the servers are gone on the Xbox 360. But once they turn them off, for example, and you have a hard drive malfunction, all those games on your hard drive, because they don't make it very easy. There probably is a way to clone the hard drive or the data off it to and fro, but they don't make it easy, and it's not exactly common knowledge. And the means to do that, it will get harder and harder and harder to try and recover all your stuff back. And because the servers are no longer dead, so you can't re-download your game, and you've lost them practically forever. Whereas with a disc or a physical copy, you won't be able to access the updates that might have been released for that particular game, like patches and things like that, but at least you'll be able to play the game that's on the actual cartridge itself, or the disc itself. You can just put it in, install it, and play version 1.0 as it is on the disc or cartridge. So that's the disadvantage with downloads. Yes, they are super convenient. You don't have to go up to the shop or wait for Amazon to ship your cartridge to you, or whatever it is, ship the game to you. You can just, like, as long as you've got a decent internet connection, just download it, bang, onto your console, and off you go. You can pretty much play it like about 10 past midnight if you're just waiting for it to be released on the eShop or whatever it is, the PSN or Xbox Live or Steam. Just download it and off you go. You can play it, download it like that, and just play it without having needing the disc or anything. But with as I say, it's the biggest problem with servers. What do you do once the servers are gone? There's not a lot you can do, really, unless someone's going to archive somewhere, backed up on a server somewhere that people are keeping, like curating themselves. Then you're not going to be able to play the game anymore. And that's what really annoys me. So even if you've got that Spyro cartridge on the Switch, for example, you can play 1, but you can't play 2 and 3 because the servers in, say, like 10 years' time, and you're, oh, I want to play Spyro 2. I want to play that. I've got the cartridge, I'll just grab it off the shelf, put it in. Then you have to find out, oh, you have to download it. Okay, just re-download it. Oh, servers don't exist anymore. So that's how much, whatever it is, £30–40 you spent, 2/3 of it are no longer available to you. That's just Activision saying, basically. That especially with consoles, I tend to prefer to buy the physical copy wherever possible. So that's what really annoyed me. And like a lot of these young kids are going to be finding out to their cost, like several years down the line, they won't be able to play a lot of their like quote unquote childhood games, like kids have been born in like the mid 2000s, late 2000s. They're going to be finding pretty soon, like probably 5 or 10 years down the line, that half of their cool games don't exist anymore because they've pulled the licenses from you, and there's nothing you can do about it. But unless you've got the cartridge up, but the people who've got the cartridge or the disc, the enlightened generation who've still hold on to the physical media, they can still play it, providing the system. All you got to worry about is the hardware still working, which is you only have to worry about that one thing working. Especially with Nintendo stuff, you don't really have to Nintendo stuff tends to be pretty bomb-proof, really, and I don't think hardware is going to be a problem, at least for a good probably 10-15 years. At least I would have thought. My Super Nintendo fires up straight away, and that thing is. It's literally older than I am. It's 28 years old, that system now, and it works perfectly fine. I don't see it. Nintendo stuff tends to last a long time, especially the Super Nintendo and Nintendo 64. The optical-based systems are going to be a bit of a problem, though. Probably more earlier than the cartridge-based ones, because of optical media's a lot more difficult to replace and replicate compared to solid-state media, which can be. Solid-state media is not just one. You don't have like one, of course, like one type of memory card. You can have like SD cards. You can have memory sticks like this one here, and so all you have to do is just like swap the solid-state medium with something else, with probably like a higher capacity variant or something, and just copy the files over and you're done, basically. So that's why you're seeing these really cool mods with, like, some people are replacing their, like, just example. People are modifying their Dreamcasts. They're taking out the optical drive, which some people might say is sacrilege. I suppose you could argue that, but replace it with the aim of replacing it with a solid-state drive instead. So you just put the ROMs on like a much more reliable and quicker solid-state medium, like a memory, like a SD card or something, like SD card reader, and just play the ROMs off an SD card, and you don't have to worry about wear and tear of like the laser moving back and forth. So, and they generally last a lot longer. So there is that option, but that's not an option for every single console out there, unfortunately, at the moment at least. But that's why I tend to prefer physical media. It's like still having access to these games like 10-15 years down the line. And a lot of these younger generations of kids are going to find like half their libraries have literally evaporated into the cloud, as it's cloud computing. I think people put far too much stock into cloud computing, like everything has to be cloud these days. You can call me like cloud computing is awesome, like when it, but I don't think it's the be and all. It doesn't have to be the be all and end all of everything. It's just like cloud. There's pros and cons. Like there's putting far too much stock into just download only services is a bit dicey. It's just it's like having like being able to access your files that you've paid for, or whatever file it is, all the stuff that you hold dear. Are you still going to be able to just keep being able to access those files in like 5 to 10 years time? It's hard to say, really. Depending on what medium it forms, or whether the company goes bust or whatever, so that you always got to worry about that. But with a physical release or something, you don't have that problem. All you got to worry about is the hardware still working, which is not really a problem. If you, at least now anyway, a lot of the pretty much all console. There's still plenty of consoles out there. Like if your console's broken or whatever, just get another second-hand one off eBay or whatever, and it'll still work perfectly fine. Like a lot of the old Segas, the old Nintendos, you don't think you can really have a problem really with that really. So as long as you've got the disc or cartridge that's in good condition, it'll still work. So there you go. Physical media. I prefer physical media compared to digital stuff most of the time, if I can help it. There is a difference that I don't buy physical media for PC. Now, the difference is compared to PC with consoles is like due to the open nature of the PC platform. Because it's a lot more open-ended, and there's a lot more. There's communities and third-party forums that are dedicated to video game preservation and stuff like that. So because of like these brilliant intellectuals and stuff, like and programmers and stuff who've made things like these old emulators like DOSBox and Scum VM and residual VM, these virtual machine things that can play games natively perfectly on modern operating systems. Even games from like the early 80s and early 90s, you can still play them pretty much. The vast majority of them will still work absolutely fine. And even if you haven't got the disc anymore, you could probably find like a hobbyist forum where you can still access the files again. Now, of course, you're going into grey area when it comes to like re-downloading like abandonware and stuff like that. But if push comes to shove, you know, that's what I'm saying, is there are options. If, like, for example, you can't access a particular game, it's a lot easier to still retain access to certain games, even if like access is lost on a particular avenue, like your old disc might not work anymore. You can probably still find like a exact copy of that game you've lost on the internet somewhere and just re-download a patch or whatever and make it work on your modern Windows or Mac operating system and still play the game as it was. So with PC, I'll download everything on Steam anyway these days, simply because it's convenient. Downloading games is convenient. You don't have to worry about discs, and I can reinstall and download games as I see fit. And so if I'm running low on hard drive space, I can just re-download it and back up my save games to the cloud, and then it will re-download them. I can play them on another laptop or another computer. So there are advantages to download games, but really the advantages are only reserved mainly for PC. With consoles, it's a lot of the advantages of download games are just not there. Download speeds for one is still shocking on consoles. PlayStation 4 takes like about 3 years to download like a standard, I don't know, 20GB file, even though if you've got a decent internet speed, it's just it takes like 12 years to download updates. It'll download like you download a game and then you try and boot it up. Oh, I've got to do like a day one patch now after that, which is under 4 or 5 gigs. Like, oh, if you have to, it's so bloody slow. That's where the Xbox One does have the advantage in that. Excuse me, in that regard, the service tends to be a bit more bit more speedier, but consoles are still pretty terrible when it comes to downloads. A lot of the advantages have been thrown away. They're available. Those advantages are available on PC, but not so much on consoles. But there you go. So that's why I tend to prefer PC. Tend to prefer having when it's on console. I'll buy if I like a game, I'll try and get it for cartridge if I can, or disc for the console. Whereas on PC, I'm happy just to download it on Steam for the sheer convenience, and it's like quick and snappy, and it just boots off my solid state driver. I can play whatever I want, whenever I want, which is awesome. And it's having a decent PC does have its perks. It's expensive PC gaming, no doubt about it, hardware wise, but the advantages compared to consoles is there's so many advantages of playing on console compared to playing on PC compared to console. I barely play consoles anymore, apart from like the retro games like my old Super Nintendo and GameCube every now and then. But I don't. My PS4's just sitting there doing nothing, and my Xbox One's just, well, it's not in here. It's downstairs because my mom plays FIFA on it from time to time. But there we go. PC game, I suppose, like PC Master Race, I suppose. But anyway, I think that's my rant over on that one, physical versus digital media. I think probably a lot of people would agree with me on that one, but some people might not. But that's the only thing. It's just, I think it's the younger kids are going to be sorely disappointed. A lot of these games they're just going to disappear into thin air, and they won't be able to play them anymore. And they'll realise it far too late because they didn't buy the physical copy, whatever it is. They won't be able to play anymore. There is a game I wanted to play that you can't buy anymore. That's a really disadvantage when it comes to physical digital only games, isn't it? Scott Pilgrim game that came out a few years ago. That interesting looking pixel art side scrolling beat 'em up game. Can't buy it anymore. Due to licensing issues. Or copyright problems, they've had to pull the game, and it's no longer available to buy anywhere. So unless you've got it already on your Steam library, you can't play it anymore. So that's me fucked. I can't play it. That's what's really annoying. I hate licensed games for that very reason. And if they're download only, that's even more of a bitch. Because like there's always they're a lot more likely to disappear and like never to be available to buy again. So you could probably pirate it, but I've never really, I suppose I could probably try and find a ROM somewhere, I guess, but I never really bothered looking. But if I wanted the only way I'm able to actually play it now is actually try and source like a pirate copy, where the original developers won't get a dime of money, but I can't buy it anywhere anymore. Like, it's not on Steam, it's not on Origin, it's not on anywhere else. You can't get it anymore because of copyright bullshit. The Marvel vs. Capcom games, famously as well, they due to copyright. That's the thing. Like, if you've got the original copies on Dreamcast, those discs will still work. You can still play the games because you've got the disc. But people who want to buy the digital copy can't do it anymore because they've pulled it, haven't they? Because of licensing crap. Because of there's like a certain amount of time where like the license just like relapses back to the original owners, and it's just bullshit. You can't buy them anymore. So that's just a big example. Licensed games are pretty bullshit for that. So especially with licensed stuff, get the physical copy if you care about having access to it down the line, because like the digital copy very likely will disappear into the ether, which is really annoying, isn't it? But anyway, so yeah, let's talk about more positive things actually then, shall we? Just a few bits and pieces. That's why it links into my video game collecting. That's another thing. It's just like I like having something tangible to hold, really, and like say, this is like something to show you, like the manual and the artwork and the actual physical thing to show what I've spent the money on, basically, and I can play it whenever I want. That's the cool thing, beautiful thing about physical media, and it seems to be everything's going in the way of downloads, which it's a double-edged sword, really. It's fine if the infrastructure is going to be there several years down the line, but for a lot of reasons it won't be. It'll be pulled down, and like a lot of these games are just going to disappear, and you won't be able to play them ever again. Simple as that. It's definitely a major problem with the old 8-bit computers and 16-bit computers and stuff like that. A lot of those old games have been lost, unfortunately. That were released on tapes and because they're no longer manufactured, and like the files no longer exist anymore. Like the tapes like just disappeared into the ether and stuff. Like you can't get them anymore. So in theory, having digital backups of stuff is ideal, but the way that it's implemented, it's all in favour of the publisher, and that it's all in favour of renting rather than actually owning games anymore, which is a real shame, really. It's like you've paid for the license to play Spyro. You don't own Spyro, you are renting Spyro. Well, if that makes sense. You're renting Spyro games off us. You don't own it, you're renting it. And we own the IP. Therefore, you don't get to play it anymore because, hey, we got to monetize it again. We're going to remaster it again, and you got to pay it all over again. It's that sort of bullshit I really absolutely hate. But anyway, I think that's enough ranting for on Spyro and stuff like that. What games am I playing recently? I'm playing an awful lot of 2 Point Hospital. I thoroughly enjoy that. It's of course like because I've already done a Let's Play on my friend Adventure Game Fan 8. I did a complete Let's Play of Theme Hospital all the way from level 1 all the way up to the last level. Completed it. If you want to go check that out on my other channel, you still can watch it if you want to. And it's a thoroughly enjoyable game. It's basically Theme Hospital, but with like a lot of modern upgrades and touches that make sense in the modern world. They've made a lot of upgrades. Of course, it looks better, and like it's Theme Hospital, but like it's Theme Hospital 2.0 basically. Now, if I were to criticise it, I think I haven't completed it yet, but I've sank a lot of hours into it. I'm about level 6 or 7, and the biggest thing, of course, like some people will, of course, like the similarities between the two games would be a bit too much. But I think the only thing that really bugs me is perhaps it's a little bit too easy. I don't know whether I'm the only one who thinks that, but I've got to level 6 and 7, and I've leveled all the hospitals I've done so far up to 3-star. And I'm not really finding it much of a challenge, really. That's probably because, then again, it might be because like I've played through Theme Hospital so many times, and I've got a bunch of strategies in my head that tend to be pretty foolproof in the new 2 Point Hospital game. But I find it a bit too easy. I think it's a bit too forgiving, in my opinion, probably. Like the same strategies where I used to apply in theme hospitals, as I've said, tend to work quite well on the new one. As long, basically, you can go quite far into the red in terms of like spending money. You don't really have to worry about that so much. It's quite lenient. You have to go quite far into the red before it will start. If you get to let's say below minus $3,000 or whatever, we will make this hospital bankrupt. But like I never really got anywhere near that. I was getting quite far into the red. I thought, like, hang on, shouldn't you be penalising me for this? But the hospital was still chugging along nicely. And once things levelled out and like I got enough patients through the door, and a lot of my doctors were trained up to an adequate level, everything was levelled out pretty quickly, and I was making money hand over fist, and it was getting a bit too easy for my personal opinion. But the one level is really good though. They did throw a curveball in there in one of the levels where you basically the pool of hospitals that are available to buy. Every doctor is a junior, basically. So there are no consultants, no doctors. There's only juniors. So you have to train your doctors straight away. So you have to like level them up in all the different disciplines. And there's a lot more to choose from in 2 Hospital compared to Theme Hospital. Like you've got diagnostic skills, you've got customer service skills, you've got GP skills, pharmacy skills, ward skills, fixing machine skills for janitors, ghost busting. That's a cool one. Ghost catching, I should say. That's another cool one, where the janitors go around with like these little dust buster vacuum cleaner things and go around hoovering up the ghosts. So if you kill the patient, they might turn into a ghost, and they go around haunting the other patients and like scaring them away, and you get all the patients running around the hospital. That's really, really funny. It's a fantastic game, 2 Hospital. It's a little bit easy thus far, but it's a lot of the upgrades make sense, and it's still very habit forming and very addictive. And I've played like about 4 or 5 hours at a time. Like, I should have had like lunch about like 3 hours ago. It's that sort of game. Like I'm playing well into the early hours where I'll be working like, like I don't know, up till 3 o'clock in the morning, and I have to be up at 6 to go to work in like just literally a couple of hours time. I've done that a few times, and it's really addictive. So if you enjoyed Theme Hospital, you will really enjoy it. It's Theme Hospital 2.0 basically, with a lot of extra bells and whistles added onto the top, and it's wonderful. If a bit easy, I think thus far. If you played it before, you think you probably might find it a bit easy. But if you haven't played Theme Hospital before, I'm not sure how you'd find it really. Even then, I think you'd probably find you might just think you still it's forgiving enough for you if you're not really good, never really played business management games. But if you've played stuff at Theme Hospital, of course, and Roller Coaster Tycoon, you'll do just fine really. But it's a really fun and addictive game, and like it's got all the charms of the original Bullfrog game. It's not quite as dark in tone. It's a little bit more like sort of like full of itself, but sort of still kind of like, if you've watched the trailers, you know, like it's going for like that sort of really like we are a proud establishment, and at 2 Hospital, 52% of our patients think we are great, and stuff like that. It's going for that sort of like American sort of infomercial sort of pastiche thing, which is awesome. I really love that, but with a British tone to it. And you can, the head doctor's like outside, like advertising his hospital, and like, there's explosions going off behind him, and like and stuff like that. And there's a fire and people running past behind him. It's wonderful. It's going for that sort of expensive but crap pastiche, if that makes sense. It's wonderful. It's got the I'm pretty sure it's got the original the original announcer from the original Theme Hospital game doing the exact same announcers, like doing sarcastic remarks like she used to do in the original game, which is wonderful. Top marks for that getting the original. I don't know what the actress's name is, but I'm pretty sure it's the same person. They sound identical anyway. So that you get top marks for that. Like just being condescending to patients, like as usual. Like if you find our prices are too expensive, well, that's tough for you. That's that sort of thing. It's just absolutely wonderful. I absolutely love that. And it's, you've also got a radio, well, not just one. You've got a couple of radio DJs that swap in and out every 2-point radio, and like I'm doing these like advertisements and playing like these tunes in between these little advert breaks. It's just, these little touches like that just make you smile. If you enjoyed Theme Hospital, you will get a right kick out of it. It's I think it's wonderful, even if it's a little bit on the easy side for my taste. But they can easily still patch that. Could probably add in like challenge modes later down the line and stuff like that. It's early days. It's only been out about a week or so, and I've ended up buying my brother and my mother a copy because I think it's brilliant. They should play it as well. And my brother plays it on his Mac next door, so that's £60 worth spent. I've got 3 copies of a rather wonderful, brilliant game. And if you sign up for that hospital pass thing, I think it's like a newsletter thing, you can have the Golden Toilet DLC. So you can have a really expensive, it's no better than a regular toilet, but it's just it's a lot more expensive. It's just, and it's gold. So that's it. That's basically it. But again, it's the humour that sells it for me. It's absolutely fantastic. I really strongly recommend 2-Point Hospital. Also playing a lot of Hitman. I really like Hitman. I've played that for a while now. I'm still waiting for Hitman 2. I don't know why they're calling it Hitman 2. That's such a stupid name because we've already got a Hitman 2 that came out several years ago. Silent Assassin, I think the subtitle was, but they're calling it Hitman, the new Hitman 2, because the previous one was called Hitman, even though there is already... Just to bugger up the filing system. They could have at least given it a subtitle so you know where it stands in the continuity of things. It's like Doom and Doom. Which means, what do you mean? Do you mean the original Doom, or do you mean the 2016 version of Doom, or Hitman, or Hitman 2016? Which one do you mean? Like, because it doesn't say 2016, it just says Doom and Hitman and Hitman. But there you go. It's the sort of thing that just bugs up filing systems, doesn't it? It makes it really confusing for people who want to play games in, like, say, you might want to play games in, like, say, chronological order, but you might not necessarily know what the order is because it doesn't tell you the order. Yeah, of course, not without looking it up, obviously. But yeah, it's just like, well, it's a minor gripe. Granted, who cares what it's called, really? But like, it's kind of a bit of a bugbear of mine. Like, it's just like for people who want to like for archiving. Again, it's just really, really annoying when like you got like 2 or 3 films or 2 or 3 games of the same name, even though they might not be related in the slightest, apart from name alone. It's, you know. But anyway, Hitman 2, be really excited for that. It's coming out in November. Tempted to do some videos on that, actually, when it comes out. I'm not the best at Hitman, but I do like playing it. That might be a contender for me to do some streams with. Just to idly play around like on the weekends, and people can like come, hang out and just have a chat with me if you want, because I do appreciate that. Some people actually do like sending me messages and asking like to follow me on Facebook and whatever, which is awesome. I don't use Facebook because barely at all, and like I don't add people on there anyway, but probably best thing for now, you can follow me on Twitter if you want, just at my name, at James Petford, all in one word, and you can just send me DMs if you like and follow me on there. And I do have a Twitch account. It's just I haven't used it in ages. I just need to think what games I really want to stream with it. Really, streaming's a bit of a bugger. Really, I did a few tests with Monkey Island, but they didn't seem to work out. Unfortunately, I will have another crack at it. It's just having the time of day to tweak the settings and getting the bitrate right and like the order levels right and stuff. It's a bit tricky. I tend to work with prefer to work with pre-recorded stuff more than off-the-cuff live stuff. I'm terrible at that sort of thing, but I like to have another go, and it might be if I like just do a free and easy stream every now and then, so people can hang out and come in and have a chat and just discuss various things if you want. That would be cool. I'll think about doing that every now and then. And so yeah, that's coming out in November. And I'm also, of course, looking forward to the new Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. That's going to be that's going to be fantastic. I really liked Mellow's a good game. Brawl's a good. They're all good games. They're all Smash games are great. A lot of the diehards will say Melee is the best. Nothing but Melee. Fox only. Final destination, no items, fox, fox, fox. You're always going to get the diehards of saying Melee's the best, which I don't agree with anymore, really. I think Smash 4's destroyed that now, which Melee fans will hate me saying that, but at least I didn't say Brawl. Brawl's a good game as well, but the only thing I didn't like about it was like the tripping mechanic, which is a bit stupid. What was the point of that? But anyway, it was an enjoyable Smash game. I really enjoyed it. But Smash 4, for me, despite omitting some of the cooler features of previous games, like, I will say this, Smash 4 is probably my favourite of the ones I've played so far, the one on Wii U, simply because it feels the most complete. The animations feel fluid, it runs really smooth, and it's not super fast, but it's not slow either. It's got a nice balance to it. It just feels really nicely fleshed out, and it's compatible with GameCube pads, and you control it however you like. And 8-player Smash is awesome as well. It's my favourite Smash out of all of them. I think I truly believe that, even though I sank with my cousins and my brother thousands of hours into Melee, I can't really go back to that anymore now. I think it's had its day, to be fair. It's a fantastic game. It was a fantastic game in its day, but Smash 4 smashed it out of the park, really, for me, I think. I will say this, though, the single-player modes are a bit crap, though, in Smash 4, though. I missed adventure mode from Melee. They should bring that back, I think. And they ruined the targets practice mode. That was a bit crappy. They replaced it with like with something that wasn't as good as the original, where it was like in Melee it was like the target practice mode was the targets were tailored to each character, but like it was in the fourth one it was just a generic same one for everybody, really, which was a bit crap, really. And what else was missing from 4 that I liked from Melee? Subspace Emissary. I wasn't a big fan of it, really. It was a nice idea, but it sort of, the side-scrolling like fighting mechanics of like general play didn't really suit side-scrolling platform. It was a bit awkward and felt a bit tacked on to me. It didn't seem to work properly. For me, it was a fun mode. Don't get me wrong, and like some people really love it, but like I don't miss it not coming back, really. I would prefer having adventure mode from Melee back, preferably. I prefer the having like stages interspersed with a few challenges here and there. I preferred that. But anyway, for what I've seen from Smash Ultimate, they are really. It looks like they really are going to town on this one. Not that they didn't on 4, of course, but on this one, they are really pulling out the stops on this one. I mean, just the character roster on its own is just far beyond what I expected them to do. Like, they've really pulled in the third parties. They've got Konami on board, they've got Capcom on board, they've got Square Enix on board, you've got Final Fantasy, you've got Solid Snake from Metal Gear, you've got Street Fighter, you've got Bayonetta in the Sega, Sonic as well, and you've got Castlevania represented as well. You've got Simon Belmont and Richter. I couldn't remember his name. Richter out of he was in Castlevania X or Rondo of Blood. If you are the aficionado of the PC Engine version, try and get that off eBay. How much money that you want to spend on that, crikey. But anyway, but the character, so there's loads of characters to choose from. That is absolutely insane. Looks like a lot of people are saying this is just going to be a personally, I was just expecting them to do a port of Smash 4. I would have been fine with that, but I'm glad they didn't. It's crazy what they're doing with this Smash 4 compared to Smash 4. So a lot of people are saying it's going to be a port and stuff, including me. But and they do the reveal trailers and like, no, we're not. We're brand new game, brand new engine, brand new renderer, brand new graphics, brand new everything. Well, not brand new everything, as I'll go into. The most of it's pretty much so it's a brand new bona fide Smash game on a brand new engine, runs at 60 frames per second, no dips in speed probably at all. 8-player mode on every single map, all of them. So there's no limit. That was a limitation of the Wii U version. It couldn't handle 8 players on all the maps, so they had to like do some. They had to remove a lot of the background hazards and stuff in a lot of the maps, so the frame rate wouldn't dip. So there was compromises there. But in this one, it's 8-player, no holds barred, 8 players on everything, every map, and they've brought back pretty much every map from every single game. apart from like 1 or 2 where they couldn't, for whatever reason, they couldn't like picture chat and stuff like that. Like, I mean, Miiverse, they won't do that anymore, because like the main crux of that level on Smash 4 was like the Miiverse pictures would like appear behind you, but since they turned off the Miiverse service some time ago now, that wouldn't work. It's kind of pointless. You're just having an inferior version of Battlefield, basically. So I can see why they didn't bring that back. That makes sense. But for all intents and purposes, apart from like probably like 3 or 4 or 5, they've brought back pretty much. They're bringing back, I should say, it's not out yet. They're bringing back pretty much every map from every previous game. We've got Smash Bros. 1 represented, Melee represented, Brawl represented, and Smash 4 represented, which is, it's absolutely crazy. It's going to be absolutely wonderful. I'm really excited to play that. It's coming out in December. So there's going to be absolutely... That's just the they haven't revealed everything yet. That's just like the multiplayer levels, and they've revealed a few new items and a few new a few extra bells and whistles to make it more, you know, quality, general stuff in the background, like quality of life improvements, like stuff like health bars and things like... Shulk, for example, you no longer have to like cycle through each move individual. You can just select a move on the screen. Like, so if you want to get to speed instead of like power or whatever, where you have to like cycle through like speed, agility, and all the other ones, you have to like cycle through about 2 or 3 to get to the one you want. You no longer have to do that now. You can just like select it, boom, boom, and there you go, and grab the move. And stuff like Cloud's like a focus move, whatever it's called. Is it focus attack? I can't. Well, when you focus, he like charges up his sword basically, and his focus meter, as it appeared in Final Fantasy VII, a little focus bar appears now at the bottom of the screen. So there's like extra UI improvements and extra features they've added, and we've robbed the robot as well. Like his energy meter is now on his. You can actually see it physically on his spine now, so you can see how much energy he's charged up. It's just little stuff like that, which makes it, the attention to detail is absolutely spot on. Nintendo, for all their business side of things, is absolutely terrible when it comes to like marketing things and copyright on YouTube and stuff. That's for another video. But the business side of things aside, Nintendo at full pelt when it comes to actually developing and designing games. At Nintendo at their peak, I don't think you can beat them. I don't think you can, because they've got the most talented people in the business in all aspects, in music, programming, design. They're just absolutely top notch. The absolute creme de la creme, cream of the crop, top drawer, best there is, if you ask me. When it comes to that sort of stuff, they've just got a knack for it. And Smash Brothers is a culmination of what they are capable of at their best. It's just really annoying when they do like really annoying business decisions, and like, why did you do that, and all that sort of stuff, and why are you doing this with like ROMs and stuff like that. But I'll talk about that in another video. I've already gone on for too long, nearly an hour long. Batteries need running out. I'm running out of my camera as well. So I probably won't go on for too much longer, but anyway, it's stuff like that. Nintendo, when it comes to that sort of thing, it's just they know when they know what they're doing, and they're focused on their work, and they put. And it's thanks to Sakurai as well, like the head designer. He's been there since the beginning. The head honcho of the head proprietor, the head honcho of the Smash project, if you can call it that. He knows his onions. He knows what he's doing. He knows what the fans want. That's not always a good idea though. Like listening to what fans want, because fans just like bleat about everything. Oh, I want that character. I want that character. I want that move. I want that to be debuffed. I want that to be increased. I want that to be sped up. I want that to be slowed down. That sort of thing. But he tends to do his own thing anyway. Sakurai, like he knows, he listens to the fans, but he only picks out, cherry picks like the things that matter, and think, oh, that would be a good addition actually. Like, I don't know. I'm still torn about Ridley being included, because he has said he did say so in the past. Like, well, he's a huge character. Like, the only way we can really get him as a playable character, which he's bowed down to, I suppose. You could argue, I suppose, bow to peer pressure, maybe. But then again, maybe he thought, maybe it's not so bad if we include Ridley, like really popular requested character, maybe. But like, the only way to make Ridley work is to shrink the character, send it down to a quite small size, so it's like comparable size to the other fighters. Still quite a lot bigger than a lot of the other fighters, but still, a similar size spec spec-wise to the others. So that had to be that had to be a compromise on that front. They've had to like shrink him down quite considerably to make him a playable character, basically. But by the looks of it, they've made it work. He's one of the larger characters in the roster, but he's like as a comparable size to the others, where he can still like fight them 1-to-1 and stuff like that. So I don't know. I'm still torn on Ridley, but I think I'll end up. I'd like to try all the characters. There's so much to choose from. It's crazy in terms of the roster. I like playing as Jigglypuff, even though I'm no good as Jigglypuff. It's good fun once you land that rest move. Again, instant KO. It's just it's really hard to land properly, but it's so good fun to get that when you get it right. And I tend to play as Mario as well, like quite boring, I guess, but like he's a nice all-round. I like to experiment, and Robin's another good left field character I like to play as, with like the magic book thing and the zigzag. I don't know what it's bloody called, the zigzag sword that Robin carries. I like that move as well. But yeah, so there's shitloads of characters to choose from. There's like 70 now, and I'm really surprised that King K. Rool. I'm really surprised on that one. I really didn't expect K. Rool. I thought like he was like consigned to the history books, like Donkey Kong Country 3 was the last appearance I think he was in a mainstream game. I might be wrong on that. Last time I've seen him anyway, that was 96. That came out. But he's back, and he's got his crown move from the Donkey Kong Country 1, where you can throw his crown, and then if you've got Villager, you can pocket the crown. Fantastic, absolutely, and like you can use it as a projectile and throw it back. Brilliant, and he's got this blunderbuss move from Donkey Kong Country 2. It's like an amalgamation of his best moves and identity. It's absolutely top-notch Nintendo. Fantastic. I never would have expected that. Such a left field idea, but can't knock it. Absolutely fantastic addition. The teaser trailer was fantastic for that as well, where King Dedede did, like, it thought, nah, it ain't K. Rool. You can see the silhouette of K. Rool, King Rool, and then Dedede goes, starts laughing like in front of the window where Donkey Kong and Diddy are looking through the window, and then K. Rool just appears out of nowhere and like bops him out of the way, and like there's the big reveal. And that was after like Simon Belmont and Richter were announced not long before that. In the previous, was it the same trailer or was it previous trailer? I can't. It's all a blur to me now. But like before that anyway. But yeah, again, yes, Castlevania editions are cool. It's just like all these extra editions. It's just a lot of them I just didn't expect, and like awesome. What would if I were to? What would I suggest? I don't know. Like the roster's probably getting. I like having a massive roster. The more the merrier. But it's probably going to get to a point where, like, oh, I've added that character. Oh, I'll request that character now. And like, it's just, I guess fans some fans will never be satisfied really, and you just keep, oh, you've added so and so. I want so and so now and stuff like that. But I don't know. Where can they? Are they going to add any more characters into that? Probably. They haven't even talked about DLC yet. It's already filled to the brim with just characters. But I would, if I were to put like about 50 quid on it, I would reckon, Sans from Undertale. I reckon Sans from Undertale was in with the shout, because if you think about it, they're releasing the physical version of Undertale in. Is it next month? Is it out on Switch? It's been the physical copy. Fangamer are doing the physical copy anyway. And you can get that as a download as well. But I'm getting the physical copy because I love Undertale. One of my all-time favourite games. A lot of people will disagree with that, but I'll probably talk about that in a separate video actually. But I won't go into too much. But Undertale, I love Undertale. The Sans character, Skeleton from Undertale. I reckon he'll appear in it. I reckon he will. I have a sneaky suspicion because this copy of Undertale is out next month, I think it is, and it's just time with that. Getting Undertale on the Switch is a massive coup. It's probably a bit 2 years too late, to be fair, but then again, stuff like this with like a really hot new console, stuff like this, a lot of games like this in this format can get a second wind. So that like renewed interest in, like, like a TV series which goes on hiatus for a few years, and then like for whatever reason, like season 3 or 4 of a TV series like becomes massively popular or something, for all of a sudden, for whether it gets like better advertising or like a big celebrity endorses it, or something happens which generates more traffic basically, and then so all of a sudden it becomes massively popular. And they're like, oh, have you seen, like, I don't know, I'll just give you an example. I don't know whether it's the same scenario, but like, have you seen like the new series of Walking Dead? Have you seen that? It's really good. No, I've never heard of that. Is it any good? And then this is like during season 3 or season 4. Like, for example, if season 3 or 4's on, and then it sort of generates interest for previous episodes and series. Though I'll feel like doing a marathon now, and it's the same sort of principle with games. With Undertale certainly has like the interest in it. I think people who may have bought it already on PC and PlayStation 4, which is the only other and PS Vita as well. You can get it on as well. If you bought it on PlayStation, I think people will be interested in getting it again on Switch. And people said, like, I don't really have a decent computer anyway. I want it on the Switch. People have been asking it on for Nintendo's platform for ages, and the comparisons between it and Earthbound are unmistakable, of course, and that there's a lot of connections you can make between those two games. That's what's my bet. That's what I'm betting on. Smash, an Undertale character for Smash, but I reckon Sans. I think he's within a shout. I bet 50 quid. I reckon he'll make it this. Maybe not straight away, but maybe as a DLC character. But that gives me time to recuperate 50 quid. Who am I going to bet it with? Everybody who watches it. Okay, that's 50 quid I've lost. One person who decides to watch this. But that's my bet. And a lot of people are saying Geno character from Super Mario RPG. Maybe I don't fancy the chances on that one, to be honest. Simply because it was only released in NTSC regions, and it's not really well known in the UK and Europe. It wasn't released over here, unless was it released on the SNES Classic? I'm not sure actually. Was it on the SNES Classic? I'm not 100% on that. I want to say it wasn't. I can't remember though. No, I don't think it was. Oh, yes, it was. Sorry, I do apologize. Yes, it is. I wasn't reading that right. Yes, it was. It was also on the Wii U Virtual Console. I don't think it was on the Wii Virtual Console. Oh, I'm mistaken. I'm mistaken on that one. It was released anyway on the Super Nintendo Classic Edition console thing. So that was the only way that people in the UK over here have ever got to play it, and that was last year when that came out. So it's still not very well known, really, in the Mario canon of games. So I don't reckon like an quite an obscure character from like a fairly obscure Mario game. It's not the most obscure, obviously, but in terms of like compared to the others, it's not really well known over here in Europe because not many people have played the original. Unless you're a die-hard import fan, you wouldn't have played it. I haven't played it yet. I can still play it for what. Oh no, I can't actually, because even the flash cart doesn't support Super Mario RPG. Ah, damn it! I'll have to bite the bullet and get the cartridge one way or another. I'll have to get it. But I know it's expensive. But that's for another time. But anyway, Geno from Super Mario RPG. That's a popular one. And what was another one? Another theory. Who was it? Skull Kid from Majora's Mask, Zelda Majora's Mask, or Mask of Majora, I think it was called in Japan. That's an interesting possibility. Maybe, but probably much better shout than Geno from Super Mario RPG. The only issue with Super Mario RPG is they'll have to get the license from Square Enix, but then again, Cloud's in. So I guess it's wouldn't be far out of the question. Because the Cloud's already in there, they've already got an agreement with Square to we can use Cloud in the game. So maybe, I don't know actually, but I reckon Skull Kid's got a better shout than Geno. I reckon just because it's a more popular, more well-known game, not as popular as Ocarina again, but a lot more well-known than Mario RPG was. So he's probably with a shout, Skull Kid. That'll be an interesting character, and you can pull. And there is a moon level in the game now, where the moon crashes into the level and destroys everything. That's awesome. So it's within a shout, thematically, and match the level and the character together. So yes, possibly. But we'll see. So Smash Brothers, that's going to be awesome. So that's the characters anyway. There's also like they've teased that they've pixelated out the rest of the features. They haven't showed all the features yet. We don't know what the single player campaign is going to be like. Some people have reckoned, due to like depixelation software and like reverse engineered like some of the screenshots and reverse. I don't know how they've done it, but like some people have ascertained the single player mode to be called Spirits or something like that, where it possibly ties in with like the trailer where like the Ouija gets like destroyed by the Grim Reaper and like his ghost flies out his body. Quite gruesome actually. That's good, but really well done, that trailer was. But anyway, so possibly like gameplay wherein you unlock. Some people have suggested, I think this is probably the best theory, where I don't know who suggested it, but like I've heard a few people say this, where a theory where you unlock a lot of you play the single player campaign and you unlock the characters by rescuing the different characters' spirits that may have been captured by boss characters in the game. Now we've seen Rathalos, this massive dragon bastard thing, from Monster Hunter, one of the Monster Hunter games. I don't know which one, or maybe the new one, Monster Hunter World, is it? I think. But he's in it, and he's an assist trophy / boss. So you can summon him as an assist trophy, and he's a massive thing, and he covers like 2/3 of the map, and like, oh god, we're gonna fight this fucking thing now. So that's a nice curveball, and he's also a boss character in one of the levels. Is it called Ancestral Stair? Is it called the level? I'm not sure. I could be getting that wrong, but I can't remember what Game Explained said. I was watching their podcast the other day, but like that's what they reckon it is. So that's probably the best theory, but that's an interesting mechanic. But we don't know like a lot of the extras, how the online mode's going to work, and what sort of extras. Like I would have thought trophies will come back. Like you can unlock these little figurine trophy things, each with like a little blurb saying which game it comes from and what have you. So that's sort of cool. I like that cool stuff. Like when you're bored, you can just like cycle through like it's kind of like the codex in Mass Effect, that sort of thing. Like a lot of flavor text sort of thing. You could when like if you're not playing the main game, you just idly like on another screen or something, and you can just look through read through the entries of the codex, like that with Smash Bros. You can read the entries, and that next to the trophy, like, oh, what's this character from? Oh, what's this item from? Oh, what's this thing? What's this referencing to? And like, oh, I know, understand that now. That, you know, those sort of like nice little references that they're just merely extras a part of the game. I really enjoy that sort of stuff. So I would have thought that would come back in some capacity, but I don't know what capacity exactly. Yeah, we've only seen the main multiplayer aspect of it, like the 8-player mode and stuff. That's back, and I think Amiibo support's back as well. Custom moves. I don't know whether custom moves is going to be back. I don't know whether. I don't think they'll, because I don't think anybody ever used custom move sets. It was a nice idea, but it was a bit of a pain in the arse to implement. And like some of the cool moves, like you had to replace like all the cool moves, and like it seemed kind of pointless having them there. So I don't think they probably won't come back. But then again, I don't think Mii Fighters were going to come back, but they've come back as well. And Mii's haven't really been part of a. They're still there in the background, like, but they're not really as prominent as part of Nintendo's marketing and general ethos of general Nintendo of things, if that makes sense, as they used to be, like as it was in the Wii days, because like Miiverse is no longer a thing anymore. It's like Mii's are sort of taken a back seat, really. They serve as like static avatars now, but that's just basically it now. They don't really serve a major purpose anymore, major function anymore, other than that, really, as access to your account. But that's it, really. But they're back, and they're a lot more fleshed out now, which is pretty cool. And they're looking at this time round implementing Mii Fighters in online mode, which they didn't do in Smash 4. I believe the reasoning was I don't know whether it was a combination, they couldn't get it to work properly, and or they were concerned about people bullying each other or picking avatars and getting people, like I don't know which cruel school kids can do and still do, like a person that you don't like, you can just create like an avatar of the person that they don't like, and they'll tease them online and stuff like that. Maybe they were concerned about that, maybe, as well as also not being able to get it to work. I can't remember what the original official statement was, but probably a combination of the two if I were a betting man. But they're they're thinking about actually implementing that feature in, if they're able to get it to work this time. They did mention like we may get this feature working at some point. That doesn't mean they will, but they are toying with the idea at least. I don't know what the netcode is going to be like. That's what they need to get right, the netcode, if they want this to be success. It's going to sell like gangbusters anyway. It's a local multiplayer game at heart, really, but the online feature would be nice to work if it did work properly. Smash 4 was generally okay, not fantastic, but it did work better than the Wii version, I remember. So they did improve it to a degree where it is actually playable most of the time, but it wasn't perfect. There was a little bit of input lag and stuff like that, but like they're still miles behind the other consoles in terms of online connectivity. And if they want to start charging for the service, Nintendo, which they are going to do, then they need to step up their game. They need to offer more than just rentable Nintendo Entertainment System games. Come on, Nintendo, like that's just, who cares? Virtual console. Can we have a virtual console back, please? The one that we want, the thing that we want, where we can have ROMs on the go. That would be nice. Okay, having online functionality added into Nintendo Entertainment System games. Okay, cool feature, but we've had that for years in emulators. Oh, you've clamped down on that now, haven't you? What can I say? But virtual console would be nice. But Nintendo, were you listening? Or but anyway. They need to get that sorted out anyway. If it's going to be successful online, which is I don't know whether that's going to be the case, but we shall see. We shall see on that front, shall we? But yes, thank you so. I think I'm going to leave it there. I've already spoken for 70 minutes. That's just crazy. People watch these massive videos. They do apparently, which is. You have me on in the background while you're doing coursework and stuff, which is fine. I don't mind that. If people listen to like a podcast or whatever you like, listen to me rant and rave and whatnot. But thank you very much for listening to me. Thank you so much for checking out my channel. Post a comment down below if you like, and I will see you next time. I don't know what video it's going to be. Maybe another vlog, or maybe just another random recording here and there. We'll see. But thank you for listening. Tune in next time.